Newt Gingrich came out swinging on the Sunday shows this week. He's defending Steve Scalise. Scalise, of course, is the third most powerful Republican in the country, and he spoke at a neo-Nazi and KKK event in the early 2000s. Let's watch Newt defend him.
Let me ask you about something going on here in Washington, and this is this situation that's grown up around Congressman Steve Scalise. He's part of the part of the Republican leadership in the House. It turns out that 12 years ago, he made a speech to a white supremacy group. Some Democrats are saying he ought to leave. Speaker Boehner says he's standing with him. I don't think that this helps the Republican case in any way, but what about Congressman Scalise? Is this a serious thing?
Let me say, first of all, I admire your professionalism. You got through that whole thing without breaking up. The fact is, you have a president who for years went to a church whose pastor said stunningly hateful things about America. The president explained he didn't hear any of them, okay? And we all gave him a pass. He gave a great speech in Philadelphia as a candidate. We said, okay, we got it. Now, he went to that church a long time and listened to Reverend Wright a long time. You have other cases. You have Bob Byrd, who was the majority leader, who was a Klan leader. You had Hugo Black, who was a justice, who was a Klan leader, but they were Democrats. So being in the Klan was okay. The fact is, the only African-American member of the Louisiana delegation, a Democrat, says that Steve Scalise does not have a racist bone in his body. Mia Love, the brand new first Republican African-American woman in Congress, said he's been extraordinarily helpful to her. Scalise is a deeply committed Catholic who condemns hate organizations, and to the best of our knowledge, gave a speech on taxes 12 years ago. Now, for a 12-year-old speech to be blown up into a national story, I think is frankly one more example of a one-sided view of reality.
Yeah, of course. This is the liberal media's fault. That's the argument he's making. Now, let's break this down a little bit. So the idea that, well, President Obama was around Reverend Wright sometime, so it's a wash. Well, here's the difference. The problem is not that Steve Scalise went to this event. Now, some people are saying that is the problem, but I've been clear from day one that that's not the problem. In fact, I didn't cover this story when it first broke. The story was out there for 2 days before I spoke about it, and for the 2 days it was out there, the idea was just that he went to this place and he spoke to these people. I didn't cover it because I don't think that's a big deal, because I don't believe in guilt by association. So if I went to go speak at a communist event or an anarchist event, or for whatever reason I'm invited to a Black Panther event or something like that, or a 9/11 conspiracy event, that doesn't mean that I agree with them. In fact, I disagree with them. So when I go in there to bring my message, it just means that, hey, I'm trying to convince them of my position. So I wasn't mad at him for going. When I covered the story is when it really became an issue, when we learned that Scalise said in an interview, I agree with David Duke and his, quote, conservative beliefs. Now, David Duke was a neo-Nazi and a KKK grand wizard. Okay, game, set, match, son. This is a controversy. This is a scandal. This is an issue. You don't get to say in the United States of America that you agree with David Duke or you agree with neo-Nazis or the KKK and then just brush it under the rug. No, nothing to see here. I just said I agree with people who supported Hitler. Not a big deal. No, it's a gigantic deal. That's when it became an issue. Now, if you remember with Obama and Reverend Wright, how quickly in every way, shape, and form was he like, look, it was just the church I went to. I sat in the pews. I didn't agree with the guy on everything. And for fuck's sake, I even excommunicated him from contacting me in any way, shape, or form from here on out. And I don't agree with his most ridiculous statements. And also, the idea that Reverend Wright is comparable to the KKK. I mean, look, I don't agree with Reverend Wright on everything. And in many ways, he makes hyperbolic statements and he's wrong on many things. But that doesn't mean that, he's pro-lynching. That doesn't mean that he thought, Hitler might not have been too bad of a guy. We should start a new movement based off of his political party. No, again, this is false equivalence to the max, man. And then also, here's a point that Gingrich makes that's beyond false. He just asserts. This is a classic Gingrich trick. You assert something in a confident enough manner, and then you expect everybody to cower because you said it with some bravado in your voice and some confidence. He says, well, what about Robert Byrd? And what about Democrats who were KKK members? That's fine because they're Democrats. No, it's not. No, it's not. Go talk to any Democrat. Talk to any listener of my show. They don't give a fuck if you're a member of the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the Anarchist Party, or the Fascist Party. If you say in any way, hey, I believe in the KKK or I was affiliated with the KKK, thank you. Step aside. Your chances of winning are now done. He just asserts that, like, oh, Democrats are cool with the KKK. No, we're not. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And for the record, Robert Byrd and the other people that he named there that were Democrats and were in the KKK, that was back when it was the Dixiecrats, the Southern Democrats, back when some factions of the Democratic Party were flat out conservative and they represented conservative values. So he tries to make the point as if, like, modern day liberals and modern day progressives are like, it'd be great if we had some KKK people representing us. No, not true. Those are from the 1960s and the 1950s, and we disagree with them either way. And the fact that they're Democrats means they were Dixiecrats, not modern-day Democrats. So leave it to Newt Gingrich to lie and twist and weasel his way out of a story to try to make people believe that it's not a big deal that the third leading Republican said, yeah, I kind of agree with neo-Nazis and the KKK.